My name is Anjali Vishwakarma. I am professor of SIRT College. Today I am giving my presentation on topic compiler design. Firstly, I will discuss about what is compiler. Then after we will go further. So compiler, as we all know, we do programming in which firstly we compile, then after we run. So after compilation, we get errors, we get warnings about the errors. So this is the first use of compiler. Basically, compiler is used to warn about the errors in our program. Now we will discuss more about compiler. So compiler is a system program that translates code data in high-level language like C and C++ in equivalent low-level language. Like if I'm talking about, we write source code that is in human-readable language, and compiler is used to change that human-readable code in machine language, because system understand machine language. That's why we have to translate our high-level language into machine language, in which we use compiler, which is used to translate code written in high-level language like source language like C and C++ into equivalent low-level language. So this is the use of compiler. I told you compiler is used in two things. Firstly, it is used to warn about the errors that comes in program. After compilation, we get some errors. So we get errors after compile our code. So this is the use of compiler. Now, second use of compiler, it is used to translate source code into target code. Or we can say that computer understand machine language and we understand human readable language. So after, so we have to understand that we have to change that language into a machine language. So this is the use of compiler. So compiler is a system program that translates code written in high-level language like source language like C and C++ into equivalent low-level language, target language like machine language. So this is the use of compiler. Firstly, it is used to check the errors. Next thing, it is used to translate source code into object code or target code. Now this is the block diagram. It shows firstly we take source language, then after compilation we get target language. So this is a block diagram of compiler. Now we will talk about features of good compiler. So whenever we use compiler, we have to keep three things in our mind. These three things are here. The aim of good compiler is to produce efficient large code. It is easy to program and require less memory space in computer. And third thing is a good compiler translates whole program in very short time. We have to keep in mind always that that if we do work, the work should be efficient. Work should be complete in less time and it takes less memory. So these three things always will keep in mind. So same as a good compiler have some features. These features are: the aim of good compiler is to produce efficient large code. It is easy to program and require less memory space in computer. A good compiler translates whole program in very short time. So we have to always keep these 3 points in our mind. Now I will discuss about what quality we want from compiler. So these 3 qualities that we want from compiler: first is correct code, second is output run fast, and third is consistent. It means whenever we compile our program, we want after compilation we get a correct code, and whenever we compile it to compile very fast and it should be consistent. So these are the qualities of compiler. Now I'm talking about cousins of compiler. We can say that these are the parts of compiler that is used in compilation process. So cousins of compilers are preprocessor, assembler, loader, linker, and debugger. So every cousins have some work, like in which we are now. I will show. This is a processing diagram of cousins of compiler. Firstly, preprocessor, then compiler, then assembler, then linker and loader. Now preprocessor. So preprocessor is generally considered as a part of compiler. It is a tool that produces input from compiler. So preprocessor is used to take input from the compiler. This is the work of preprocessor. Now after taking input from compiler, it gives that program to assembler. So assembler is doing what? Assembler is low level programming language that is used to change the code in assembly language. After changing code in assembly language, it loads the code or program into memory. So this is the loader and linker. Loader copies data and data into memory, allocate storage, setting protection bits, mapping virtual address. Linker handles reallocation, resolve, symbol reference. And now debugger. So as we all know, debugger is used to test our code. So debugger or debugging tool is a computer program. This is the program that is used to test and debug our program. So these are the cousins of compiler. We can say these are the parts of compiler that is used in compilation of program. So firstly, we take input from processor. After taking input from processor, we give this input to assembler, in which assembler change the code in assembly language. After changing this assembly language code, we load this code in memory. After loading, we debug our test. Is it correct or not? So these are the process or cousins of compiler that is used in compilation process. So this is a block diagram. Firstly, processor take input. Then after this work in phases. Now we will talk about data structure and compiler. So there are different types of data structure and compiler. As we all know, that data structure used to represent data in some form. Some form means we can represent data in graphs, we can represent data in tree, we can represent data in table form. So there are the different types of data structure as we use to organize our data. Here, same we are use these data structures in compiler. So compiler have their own data structure like tokens, syntax tree, symbol table, literal table, intermediate code, and temporary files. So these are the data structure of compiler. Now I will discuss about what is token, what is syntax tree, what is symbol table, what is literal table, what is intermediate code, and what is temporary files. Now tokens. So scanner collects character into a token. It generally represents of the token symbolically. This is a value of enumerated data type representing the sets of tokens of source language. So this is what token. We can say that collection of character is also a token. Now syntax tree. Syntax tree. It is usually constructed as a standard pointer based structure that is dynamically allocated as passing process. The entire tree can be kept a single variable pointing to the root node. Each node in a structure is a tree. As we all know about tree structure is like that. There is a parent node. We can divide this parent node into child node, in which parent node is called root node. We already know about that, the structure of a tree. So this is syntax tree. Now I will talk about symbol table. So this data structure keeps the information associated with identifier, functions, variable, constants, and data types. This symbol table interacts with almost every phases of compiler. As we already told about, there are the phases of compiler. So this symbol table used in every phase of compiler. Now literal table, quick insertion and lookup are essentially as well as to literal table, which shows constant and string used in program. Now temporary files. Computer did not possess enough memory to entire program to kept in memory during compilation. This problem was solved by using temporary files. So temporary files is used to store data temporarily. Now this is what introduction of compiler. So in my PPT, I teaches about what is compiler. Then I'm talking about features of compiler, then quality that we want from compiler, and cousins of compiler, that is also called parts of compiler. And then I discuss about data structure in compiler. So this is what, and thank you.